Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Trek fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector, and today we're looking at another entry into the official Starships collection from Fanhome, and we are looking at a ship from Star Trek Prodigy. And excitingly, it is the USS Voyager-A. So NCC 74656. It's a Lamar class ship, and it replaces the original Voyager with the intention of doing deep space exploration and science missions, ideally into the Delta Quadrant. So we'll first of all take a quick look at the box as I move the ship on its far more sturdy stand. Hope I'm not tempting fate by saying that. Towards the back of the little shooting area here. And here we can see the box. We've got the embossed, because this is an XL, the embossed Star Trek logo there with the gold foil. We've got Star Trek Prodigy, USS Voyager. The Voyager element is also embossed as it appears in there. We've got the ship warping away, as they love to do, with the Prodigy logo there, Star Trek there, Fanhome on the side. You don't care about that. Nice view of the ship here on the side. Very reminiscent, I think, of the Sovereign class, particularly the Enterprise E, but it is a, and there's all the gumph and blurb and the fananels on the back, but we'll get rid of that because we don't want to look at that. It's all well and good and lovely, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for this. And this is the USS Voyager Lamar class, which we'll get up in hand in a second. Before we do that, I'm just going to show you very quickly that this does come with one of the official Star Trek Starships collection little mini magazines, which is all about the vessel in question. And there you have a nice picture of the nearly said the Enterprise E there. Oopsie. Here you can see how it attaches to the stand, which is what we've done here. Nice front picture of the Voyager coming at you. Similar deflector array there. You can see the captain is Admiral Janeway. Whee! Impulse warp and quantum slipstream. Exciting. Lamar class. Lots of lovely shots of the ship, actually. Plenty of background shenanigans to get your mind around. As I say, they always have lots of lovely renders of the ships in these magazines. Really hard to not appreciate the work and the love that goes into them for some comparative purposes. There's also, yeah, here we've got the original Voyager compared to the Voyager-A, which will give you a sense of scale between the two. Certainly isn't how they scale on the shelf, but yeah, you can imagine. We won't go through the entire magazine. If you want to get a copy of this, it comes as part of the package of picking up the XL edition of the Voyager. Let's just take a moment to really enjoy what we're seeing here. It is a beautifully designed ship. Again, as I say, the influences of the Sovereign class are not lost on me here. I think it's really lovely. I think it's beautifully done. I think the translucent plastic is in all the right places. So far, anyway. When we get a closer look, we may have a different view on that. But ultimately, again, let's take a nice look at it there. I think it really does have some lovely lines. There is something that I have a bit of a criticism about, but that's a me thing and not necessarily a them thing. But we'll get to that in a second. The stand is nice and robust. I'll pick it up here. Nothing falls apart. I'll take it out of there. You can see how that holds onto the saucer section. There is our famously felt bottom, which enables minimal drag or spillage. And here we have the Voyager-A in hand. So that's the side profile, and a very nice side profile it is too. I'll get onto my niggle in a second, but I've got a couple actually I've just thought of. But it's like, I can just say, I just want to pull out the fact that we've got that, so you can see the protruding deflector array there under the saucer section. But we'll take a look. We'll start at the front, as we tend to do, and you'll see my first niggle coming into shot very quickly. First, I'll say it isn't light. It isn't too heavy, but it has some heft to it. So you do feel like you're holding something that's got some die cast in there, along with the ABS plastic, etc. But you do feel that it's got something going on. I love that sort of extended area there in the nose. You can really see the detailing there on the surface. I don't know whether it's intended to be a delta, but there is one pointing towards that section there. I really like it. You can see what I'm assuming are the phaser strips across the front of the saucer section, along with some of the escape pods that we can see there. Yeah, USS Voyager, this is what I don't like. This looks really, this gets lost. There's an awful lot of surface detail here, which is, I have no problem with surface detail, love it. But this seems to be getting lost. The registration seems to be getting lost on it, and that I don't like so much. I mean, we can see it, but it feels really small, and if this is on a shelf somewhere, you may not necessarily see that. So it does really need to be sort of up close for you to be able to spot that registry. And I've got and there's a bit more of an extended point to that in a second, but we'll get to that. That's my first niggle, is that. So yeah, very much loving the gold paintwork there. Again, the phaser strips, if that's what they are, which I think they are pulled out in the gold, along with some of those other points there. We're not seeing, which of course is wonderful, any window errors. There's no misplacement of windows against window ports, and that for me is just beautiful. I love it when that isn't an issue. So yeah, I'm here for that. So going across that extremely detailed saucer section, some may have a view it's too detailed. Bear in mind this is from the animation Prodigy, but that's the bridge module there, and again it looks lovely. I love the way it sort of, you can just see it sort of slope upwards. We've got the sort of inlaid area of the saucer section in here, which is reminiscent of certain other Starship designs. You almost feel like this is sitting within a bigger section and could be detachable. Don't think it is, but could be. There's some familiar almost Voyager lines towards the back of there. If you just catch it just right, it almost feels like you're looking at the back of Voyager. The nacelles don't appear to provide us with any maneuverability, much like the original Voyager, but it does have slipstream drive instead, so maybe they don't need to do that to accommodate the slipstream drive. We can see that the Bassard collectors have that nice red translucent plastic in there, and we have the blue translucent plastic rather than just paint inside those nacelle segments there and there. So I think that's really lovely. My extended niggle comes in here because I ordinarily, and it may be there isn't any on this and I just don't know it well enough to comment, but there's no sort of secondary registry markings for the Voyager on the nacelles, which I would normally expect to see, as there is also none on the side of the sort of secondary hull area. So it's literally on the front, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. I can't even see it. Nope, on the underside of the saucer section. So literally the only place it says USS Voyager is there in that really small segment at the front of that saucer. So anyway, that's just a minor niggle, I'm sure. Now I don't know where they're contained, but there's no real sign of the impulse engines. Part of me wants to say it's here and here, but they do look different. But then it is a different class of ship, and it is a different kind of overall propulsion alongside the warp. So I get that, but it would have been nice to have had a sense of that through maybe some colorization, maybe some minor paintwork, or indeed an inlaid bit of translucent plastic. I love, if you can see it there, we do have some very nice sort of teal tamper graphics along the rear of the ship there. If you can see that just on side of the nacelle struts, you can see it on the rear of the body going up to that rear portion. I don't know whether that operates as a what do I want to call it, a shuttle bay or not, but it does look really nice. So again, the detailing on the, oh hello, oh no, I thought I just saw for a second there. But it's just it's the tamper graphics of the vents and things. I thought I'd seen another mention of the USS Voyager's registry. So under here we have that again, lovely dark hues, a bit reminiscent again of the Enterprise F, I'd also say. We can see there what I guess is the captain's yacht in situ. Some more of that lovely gold detailing there. The actual array, deflector array, I think that it is a deflector array, and there it does, I think it's pulled out in some translucent blue plastic, but it's hard to tell. It could just be really just well painted. It's actually quite hard to tell. I think it might just be metallic paint on reflection, if you excuse the expression. I think it might just be metallic paint, but it is genuinely hard to tell, because there's a sort of overlay on the blue, on the glowing blue, with that sort of gunmetal grey overlay array. So hard to tell. My money is increasingly on paint, which is fine. Then we've got the rest of the underside of the vessel there. And you know what? I just think this has some lovely lines. I haven't done any photography with it yet, but if you're familiar with the channel, you'll know that I will have some ready for the outro of the video. So you'll get to see some photographic shots that I'll mess about with a star cloth and some lighting here and there. But yeah, overall, I think this looks beautiful. Very glad I've got this in hand. Again, I've got this purely because I subscribed to the Fanhome collection. I say purely, that's probably a bit untrue, because I probably, as I tend to be an Excel collector, I probably would have picked this up anyway. I probably would have picked this one up. Because, you know, it's Voyager-A, but also it's an XL. There's two very important components that feed quite heavily into some of my collecting habits. But I do think it's just got some lovely lines on it. I think the detailing is really well pulled out. A bit like when Hero Collector first released the Lower Decks ships. Yeah, I think they did that really well. I think the Lower Decks ships were done really well in sort of animation accurate colours. And I think they've done it again here. It doesn't look as animated as perhaps the others did, but it does have a sense of that within it. But of course it was a different style of animation, so fair enough. But I think it captures it's a nice halfway point in terms of the decoration on it that sits somewhere between the animation model and an actual real world interpretation of the starship. So I really love it. Have you picked up the USS Voyager-A? Is this something that is now on your shelf? What do you think of it? Do you like it? Are you pleased you got it? Do you wish you'd picked it up? Is it one that you didn't get but you're now thinking, oh, I wish I'd picked that up because it looks amazing? And I hope I'm doing it justice, because it really does look amazing in hand, you know. I think the detailing, the lines, the accuracy, which is, you know, very important, the accuracy of the paintwork. Now, I'm not saying it's 100% screen accurate, because I would never dare to say that. But in terms of placement on the model itself, the accuracy of paint app to location is really, really good. I haven't found any there that are not where they should be, or that look like they're not where they should be, which actually is half the battle, to be honest. So I'm very sold on this model ship. I think it's fantastic. Do let me know in the comments down below if you are a fan of the USS Voyager-A, and indeed any other ships that you would like to see should Fanhome decide to continue on with their production of an official Starships collection for Star Trek, particularly now that we've got Star Trek Academy. Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Are there some ships emerging from that you would like to see introduced into the range as we move forwards? Plus, of course, Strange New Worlds at the time of recording is still airing, so there's likely to be some more ships coming that way as well. So maybe, just maybe, there is enough for them to stretch to another 10 ships. But let's hope they're all of the sort of quality we're looking at when we look at ships like this one. I've still got 2 or 3 that I'm actually looking forward to from this range. And as well as one or two that I'm not looking forward to, because from what I've seen, they're a little bit, shall we say, they're falling a little short. I don't have them yet, but we'll see when I do get them in hand. Anyway, thanks so much for being my companion as I've taken a look around the USS Voyager-A as part of the Fanhome official Star Trek Starships collection. I've been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector. This has been, as I've mentioned, the Star Trek USS Voyager-A from Star Trek Prodigy. And it just remains for me to say that things of beauty really are collectible toys forever. I look forward to seeing you in a future video. You take care. Bye-bye for now.